Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada plans to recognize Palestine as a state in September if certain conditions are met, including complete demilitarization of the future Palestinian state. General election held in 2026 by Palestinian Authority without Hamas involvement. There we go. We've reached here again. Remember, yesterday, the Prime Minister of UK also announced that in September, if the UK is going to announce or to recognize Palestine as a state, if Israel does not cease fire. Now I can ask myself, if Israel ceases fire, Palestine will not be recognized as a state, will not be announced as a state. Let's first hear his statement.
On the 2nd of October 2023, Hamas perpetrated the worst massacre in Israel's history. Every day since then, the horror has continued. The hostages are still being held today. The Palestinian people have endured terrible suffering. Now, in Gaza, because of a catastrophic failure of aid, we see starving babies, children too weak to stand, images that will stay with us for a lifetime. The suffering must end. Yesterday I discussed this with President Trump, and we're mounting a major effort to get humanitarian supplies back in by air, and UK aid has been airdropped into Gaza today, and crucially, by land. We need to see at least 500 trucks entering Gaza every day. But ultimately, the only way to bring this humanitarian crisis to an end is through a long-term settlement. So we are supporting the US, Egyptian and Qatari efforts to secure a vital ceasefire. That ceasefire must be sustainable, and it must lead to a wider peace plan, which we're developing with our international partners. This plan will deliver security and proper governance in Gaza and pave the way for negotiations on a two-state solution. Our goal remains a safe and secure Israel alongside a viable and sovereign Palestinian state. But right now, that goal is under pressure like never before. I've always said that we will recognize a Palestinian state as a contribution to a proper peace process at the moment of maximum impact for the two-state solution. With that solution now under threat, this is the moment to act. So today, as part of this process towards peace, I can confirm the UK will recognise the State of Palestine by the United Nations General Assembly in September, unless the Israeli government takes substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza, agree to a ceasefire, and commit to a long-term sustainable peace, reviving the prospect of a two-state solution. And this includes allowing the UN to restart the supply of aid and making clear that there will be no annexations in the West Bank.
All right, you hear that. That's a statement made by the UK Prime Minister yesterday, that in September, UK will recognize Palestine as a state. Now today, we're getting another statement from the Prime Minister of Canada saying also Canada is going to recognize Palestine as a state in September on the following conditions: complete demilitarization of the future Palestinian state, general elections held in 2026 by Palestinian Authority without Hamas involvement. That's a great move. Thanks to everybody who has been fighting up to where we've reached today. Yesterday we get UK, now Canada. Tomorrow we might get US. And another day we might get German. Another day we might get another state. Bro, this is so great, and this is a beautiful, beautiful day to the people of Palestine. Bro, Palestinians have been dying of hunger without anything to eat, no one to supply them, no one to serve them. Bro, people have been shedding blood aimlessly. Around the world, activists, people, YouTube, everyone has been fighting to see Palestinian bloodshed comes to an end. Now we are going somewhere. We are about to reach where the world wants, where peace must be in Palestine. But on condition, demilitarization of the future Palestinian state. And the Hamas involvement must be cracked down. Hamas must be dealt with immediately. There we go. At least we are winning now. We're seeing a change is coming. Peace is coming to Palestine. People of Palestine, don't stop. Continue praying, continue agitating, continue shouting, continue vibrating, continue speaking out. And people of the world, anywhere, all the corners of the world, please continue speaking up. Continue lifting up your voices. The world must hear and the world must decide. Palestine must be free. Yes, if not that, then what? What can you tell us? When Palestinians are being killed every day, dying of gunshot, dying of bombs, dying of hunger, where nobody can serve them food? No, that is not human. That is not human anymore. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, UK. Now we're going somewhere.